You've probably heard this one before. Einstein was a bad student. He failed math, almost dropped out of school, and somehow still became the greatest physicist of all time. But what if I told you that's all wrong? In this video, we're peeling back the layers of a myth that's been repeated for decades and discovering that the real story is actually way more fascinating. So, where did this myth come from? Surprisingly, one of the earliest sources was a Ripley's "Believe It or Not" article in 1935, claiming that Einstein failed math in school. It wasn't true, but the damage was done. The myth took on a life of its own. The truth. By the age of 15, Einstein had already mastered differential and integral calculus. What he did struggle with was the rigid structure of the traditional school system, especially in Germany, where rote memorization and obedience were prized above creativity. Einstein didn't fit that mold. He didn't fail school, but he did clash with it. His teachers saw him as distracted, rebellious, even lazy. One famously said, "He will never amount to much." Ouch. So let's set the record straight. What was Einstein actually like as a student? He was incredibly curious. He taught himself advanced math and physics from books outside of class. But he wasn't a fan of formal schooling, especially the parts that felt like memory drills. He did poorly in French and history, but in math and science, he excelled. At age 16, he took the entrance exam for the prestigious Zurich Polytechnic. He passed the math and science sections, but failed the language portion. He was accepted the following year after completing more general education. So no, he didn't flunk out. He didn't fail math. But he also wasn't your typical star student. Einstein was the kind of kid who would rather ask his own questions than answer someone else's. Einstein's bad student label wasn't about intelligence, it was about fit. He was a brilliant, independent thinker in a system designed to reward obedience. That made school hard, but it didn't make him a poor learner. In fact, many of his earliest scientific ideas came before he ever had a formal degree. He was already thinking about light, time, and relativity, while most teens were memorizing poems for class. One of his most famous quotes captures this perfectly. "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Einstein believed that true learning came from curiosity, from wondering, exploring, and experimenting. That didn't always match what his teachers wanted, but it's the mindset that led him to transform physics forever. So, if it's not true, why does the myth of Einstein the bad student still spread? Because we want it to. It's comforting to believe that even the smartest person in history once struggled. It makes genius feel more human. And sure, the idea of Einstein flunking math makes for a great motivational poster. But it oversimplifies the truth. Einstein didn't fail math. He wasn't unintelligent, he was just different, and traditional schools didn't know what to do with that. When we repeat the myth, we're not celebrating perseverance. We're ignoring how creativity often clashes with convention, and how many potential Einsteins today might be sitting in classrooms feeling misunderstood. Here's the real takeaway. Einstein's story isn't about failure. It's about resistance, about thinking differently in a system that didn't reward it. He wasn't a bad student. He was an independent learner, a relentless question asker, someone who trusted his mind more than the rule book. And that's a way more powerful message. Because it means that brilliance doesn't always look like straight A's. It looks like curiosity. It looks like persistence. And sometimes, it looks like a kid daydreaming in class. So, was Einstein a bad student? Not even close. But the myth lives on, because it's easier than facing the truth. That systems don't always recognize genius. That curiosity doesn't always earn top grades. If you enjoyed this clip, hit the like and subscribe and be on the lookout for our next MindPeel.